That's why our constant commitment, this idea of continuous prayer, continually praying, this humility where the Lord can consistently show us where our weaknesses, that's a good thing, because we can start to fortify and prepare and be ready for when the adversary comes back and says, okay, let's try this next thing we know he's weak at, or this next area we know he has struggled with in the past, or this next area where maybe he hasn't struggled with, but we think there's probably an opportunity to open this up. The closer we are to the Lord, the more he's going to prepare us and fortify us against those kind of intrusions from the adversary. So it's probably a lesson that we can learn there from a real world example that probably applies to us spiritually as well.
Well, and the whole process of then being tempted and overcoming or not giving in, that actually is the test. That's what the angels are observing, right? That's what the judges of Israel are reporting. Like that's the process, and that's the test. Like as we like that's what we're here for, is to overcome, and then yeah, we're like we've overcome. Like we've done it. That's where we're trying to get to. That's why we should be diligent to the end, and not just endure it, but be diligent.
Don't just bear it.
Yeah. Okay. Faith and prayers. I know we already kind of talked about prayer in depth, but there's some good, there's some more verses on here that are real good. Talking about the Book of Mormon containing, fullness of the gospel. And it's, and it's coming forth as a result of faith and prayers of the Nephites, of these people. And I just thought this was an important lesson here, that like faith and prayers, like it's a real thing. It works. Like the Lord he hears our prayers and he honors them. And we put our faith and our prayers right out into the universe, right? And it actually has real effect. Okay. Like prayers are heard and they are taken into consideration, and God receives them, and he makes covenants and he makes promises and he answers prayers. Like, this is a real thing. Okay, there's a real spiritual principle that I want to go all like metaphysical and be like, oh, we're all like our consciousness in the universe, but it's much purer and it's simple than that, right? There's like, we are in the image of God, and our righteous desires, right? They become part of God's righteous desires, right? As we are righteous and we have those righteous desires, like we become part of Zion. We become part of that spiritual, like we have that oneness with God, where he wants what we want and we want what he wants, right? And as those things align, right, the faith and prayers, like things happen and they go in the right direction. And like the whole Book of Mormon is showing us that like there's, it may not be instantaneous. There may be a timeline involved with how things play out for a good reason, but like no prayer, no act of faith is lost to God. Right? These are principles that should be bedrock foundations of our lives.
Hit that like button, leave us a comment, subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it.
They may seem like little things, but liking, commenting, it helps the algorithm push our content out to more people. So it's our small way of sharing the gospel in a social media age.